The problems continue to pile on for the Silver Arrows. Both of Mercedes' driver contracts are now in question after their recent stumbles in the 2023 season. Rumors of Hamilton possibly moving on to another team have resurfaced, and as for George Russell, he may not be as big of a priority for the team as he thought he was. So without further ado, here's a breakdown of Mercedes' recent activities. Lewis Hamilton's contract negotiations with Mercedes seem to be an ongoing hot topic that never ends. The big question on everyone's mind is whether he will stay or go, but Lewis and his team have been tight-lipped about their plans. Recently, Martin Brundle, the renowned Sky Sports F1 pundit, has expressed his thoughts, suggesting that Mercedes might be considering decreasing Hamilton's earnings. Despite expressing mutual dedication, Hamilton and Mercedes have not finalized an agreement for the 2023 season. Additionally, with Mercedes facing difficulties in keeping pace with Red Bull and Ferrari this year, Hamilton has openly shared his displeasure with the team's choices. Hamilton has even claimed that Mercedes owes him an apology, which suggests his frustration with the team's decisions. However, is this simply a strategic move by Hamilton during the negotiation process? Brundle believes so, suggesting that Hamilton is playing a game to secure the most favorable deal possible. "We have to remember Lewis is in the middle of a negotiation as well," Brundle said. "I'm 100% certain Lewis would always follow the performance and not the money, but you aren't going to turn down a big paycheck if you can get it as well. There might be some pressure at Mercedes-Benz to reduce his pay, as it were. So there's a bit of negotiation and a bit of gameplay in this as well." Speculations about Hamilton's possible transition to Ferrari next season have emerged, making it uncertain where he will ultimately end up. However, it's evident that Hamilton will not decline a lucrative offer if it's available, but his top priority remains winning his 8th World Championship title. Nevertheless, the team's performance is critical since Hamilton values it more than anything else. I don't think Lewis is in any different position to say Lando or Charles at Ferrari of stamping their feet a little bit and saying, "Hang on, what are you doing about this?" Brundle continues. "Tell me what we're doing in terms of updates, in terms of personnel, in terms of moving this game forward, because it looks an awful lot like last year at the moment." The contract issues don't stop with Lewis though. In recently surfaced footage, a prominent figure in the Formula One community proposed that Mercedes should terminate George Russell's contract to favor his teammate. Despite being partners since the start of the 2022 season, neither Russell nor Hamilton has experienced the triumph they desire due to a less formidable car. Russell had hoped to contend for frequent wins, but that ambition has yet to materialize, leaving him disheartened. Last year, they collaborated effectively to optimize their points, and Russell emerged victorious in the intra-team competition by 35 points at the season's conclusion. As of now, only 2 races have taken place this year, with Hamilton holding a slight advantage of 2 points over Russell. It appears probable that Russell will continue to challenge his seasoned teammate within the team regarding achieving results. Hence, remarks made by veteran F1 journalist Peter Windsor from last year have resurfaced on social media. During a discussion on the Cameron F1 YouTube channel, Windsor proposed that Hamilton would be more content and in a better position if the more obedient Valtteri Bottas remained his teammate. Windsor also remarked that if he held a position of authority in Mercedes, he would advise Russell to stay within his boundaries. He said, "The problem is George, of course. It's not anything more or less than that. And you've got to remember Lewis wanted to keep Valtteri, so something big happened there in Lewis's mind. They didn't listen to him, and they signed George. There are a lot of good reasons to have George. He's the future. If Lewis retires, they've got the guy. More points for the team and all the rest of it. All of them actually amount to nothing if you put him alongside Michael Schumacher's obvious evidence of how to win a championship. You don't play around and every point counts." Red Bull would never in a million years have thought of signing George Russell, even if he was available, and put him along Max Verstappen, but Mercedes did. If I was now drafted in as team principal at Mercedes, I would say, "George, here's the contract. It's in 2 pieces now, mate. If you want to keep driving, no problem. Sign on the dotted line here and you will never finish in front of Lewis Hamilton. Sorry." According to George Russell, Red Bull has established a significant lead over the rest of the pack, akin to the start of the turbo hybrid era in 2014 when Mercedes surged to the forefront of the field. The previous significant overhaul of the technical regulations in Formula One led to Mercedes dominating the field by a considerable margin, as the sport transitioned to 1.6-liter V6 hybrid engines and substantial modifications within the cars. At that time, Red Bull, which had clinched 4 consecutive Drivers' and Constructors' Championship titles, faded from the competition. However, the 2022 spec cars feature one of the most extensive technical revamps in the sport's history, primarily due to the adaptation of ground effect aerodynamics. As a result, Red Bull gradually piled ahead of Ferrari in the latter half of last season, allowing Max Verstappen to easily secure his second world championship. Despite being penalized for a minor violation of the 2021 budget cap, Red Bull has managed to extend their lead over the competition at the start of the 2023 season. During the races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, Verstappen and his teammate Sergio Perez were significantly faster than the other teams in race conditions. Red Bull's back-to-back victories in the first 2 races have given them a significant advantage of 49 points in the Constructors' Championship. While acknowledging the impressive work done by Red Bull in creating the RB19, Mercedes driver George Russell remains hopeful that his team can still catch up and compete. He believes that it is not too late for his team to get back into the race. I mean, firstly, you've got to give credit to what Red Bull have done, Russell told Sky Sports F1 after the checkered flag in Saudi Arabia. The gap they have to the rest of the field, I think, is bigger than we've seen probably since Mercedes in 2014. You know, it's a serious gap, and I guess everybody needs to keep working harder to understand how to close that gap. But we know we didn't make the right decisions over the winter, and I think we can regain some of that performance quicker than you would do ordinarily, so everything's not all lost. We're still going to be fighting as hard as we can. We want to win races this year. We want to be in the championship hunt, but we've equally got to be realistic, focus on ourselves, and just get the fundamentals right for the long term. Following a challenging 2022 season, Mercedes had hoped to regroup during the off-season and return to their winning ways in F1 2023. However, their struggles at the season opener in Bahrain resulted in Lewis Hamilton finishing in P5 and George Russell in P7. This left the team rattled, prompting team boss Toto Wolff to discuss the W14 concept and commission a new one with a significant upgrade reportedly in the works. Although Mercedes' performance in the Saudi Arabian GP was not at the level they had hoped for, with Russell finishing P4 and Hamilton P5, they did manage to comfortably beat Ferrari. However, they were still slower than Aston Martin in race trim and far behind the dominant Red Bull team. Despite this, Russell is cautioning Red Bull, Aston Martin, and Ferrari that Mercedes is expected to receive a significant performance boost. "We want to take the positives away from this weekend," Russell told Sky Sports F1. "We qualified ahead of Ferrari and Aston. The car is already capable of that at the moment. We finished ahead of both Ferraris on merit. We had better pace than them, and we know we've got a lot of performance in the pocket to come in the near future. So in that regard, things are looking good. But our goal isn't just to beat Ferrari. Our goal is to fight for championships, and our fight wants to be with Red Bull, and they're a step ahead of everyone. So work to do." What do you think? Will the current Mercedes cast re-sign with the team when their contract is up? Or will we be seeing a new lineup for the Silver Arrows in the near future? And is George Russell right about their car being a problem for the top teams? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the latest F1 news.